Anyone who's found creating the nuisance will be barred from the event.
A very warm welcome to everyone present here. Myself, Akriti Kushwaha from second year Electrical Engineering branch, along with my co-host Aviral Das Srivastav, bid a very good morning to all the dignities and great minds participating in the session. We all are gathered here for the second day inauguration ceremony of Power and Energy Society, Signal Processing Society, and Computer Society chapters of IEEE Student Branch at Babu Banarsi Das Institute of Technology and Management, Lucknow. First of all, let's get to know about our branch. The IEEE BBD ITM Student Branch was established in March 2020. Primarily with the student of the Department of Electrical Engineering and Electrical and Electronic Engineering in Lucknow. We have been continuously working hard since then to achieve the vision of our college as well as of our department. Here are some glimpses of the event organized by our branch.
Good afternoon, everyone. This side Aviral Das Srivastav from second year Electrical Engineering branch, PBD ITM, Lucknow. As we all know that we are going to start our today's session on a very interesting topic, applying machine learning in robotics. Before we move ahead, I would like to invite our Honorable HOD of Electrical Engineering, Professor Rafiq Ahmed, who has always given his precious support and has encouraged us to attain the higher excellence, not only in academics, but also in professional and personality development. We are very thankful for your support, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. And Akriti, very immense pleasure. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. It is a matter of immense pleasure to welcome respected speaker of today, Dr. Himanshu Katiyar, in this IEEE Society inaugural, that is Power Energy Society, Computer Society, Signal Processing Society. I would like to extend a warm, sincere welcome to all of your presence here on the behalf of IEEE BBD NITM branch counselor. You present a source of inspiration and positivity during this thought time for both the participant and organizer. Thank you so much. Over to the anchor.
Thank you very much, sir, for your precious words. Moving ahead, I would like to call our speaker, Dr. Himanshu Katiyar, sir. Let us dwell into his qualification and achievements. Dr. Himanshu has received his bachelor's degree from MIT Muradabad, master's degree from MEC Gorakhpur, and PhD degree from IIT Guwahati, Assam, India. At present, he is an associate professor of the electronics engineering, Rajkiya Engineering College, Sonbhadra. He was awarded from IETE Research Fellowship and he was principal investigator from September 2009 to December 2010 of an IETE sponsored research project. He is now principal investigator of collaborative research and innovation program funding through TEQIP third scheme of AKTU, Lucknow. He has published over 52 research papers in journals, international and national conferences. His research advantages in MIMO systems, MIMO OFDM, spread spectrum system, channel modeling, infrastructure-based multi-hop and relay networks, cognitive radio communication, cooperative diversity schemes, and adaptive array processing for smart antenna. Besides these, he is also interested in robotics, Arduino, and Raspberry Pi-based embedded systems. Over to you, sir.
Dear participants, please have patience and maintain the decorum. We are having some technical issue, so sir will be with us within 2 minutes. Stay connected.
Okay, so good morning, all the participants. So our respected speaker is just going to join, and he's facing some technical problem of connectivity. So please wait for a while, and he is going to connect soon.
मेरा तो नाम आ रहा है ऊपर लिख के। हाँ, लेकिन मैं अपना ऑडियो जो है ना, वीडियो जो है, मैं बटन दबाता हूँ तो कहता है यू कैन नॉट स्टार्ट योर वीडियो बिकॉज द होस्ट हैज स्टॉप्ड इट।
ठीक है, ठीक है। अब श्रेय श्रीकांत।
यस सर, यस सर।
ऑडियो तो आ गया तुम्हारा।
सर को, और सर का ऑडियो ऑन नहीं हो रहा। अभी सर को को होस्ट बना दिया ना।
यस सर, नाउ यू कैन एक्सेस सर।
नाउ यू कैन एक्सेस सर। आप ट्राई करिए सर प्लीज।
Okay, okay.
हिमांशु सर।
Now it is connected. Hello, I am audible.
Yes sir. Sir, you are
Okay.
completely audible. Yes sir.
Okay.
So our honorable speaker is now with us. So let's again get to know about him.
Moving ahead, I would like to invite our speaker, Dr. Himanshu Katyar sir. Let us dwell into his qualifications and achievements. Dr. Himanshu has received his bachelor's degree from MIT Muradabad, master's degree from MEC Gorakhpur, and PhD degree from IIT Guwahati, Assam, India. At present, he is an associate professor of the Electronics Engineering, Rajkiya Engineering College, Sonbhadra. He was awarded from IETE Research Fellowship, and he was principal investigator from September 2009 to December 2010 of an IETE sponsored research project. He is now principal investigator of collaborative research and innovation program funding through TEQIP, third scheme of AKTU, Lucknow. He has published over 52 research papers in journals, international and national conferences. His research advantages in MIMO systems, MIMO OFDM, spread spectrum system, channel modeling, infrastructure-based multi-hop and relay network, cognitive radio communication, cooperative diversity schemes, and adaptive array processing for smart antenna. Besides these, he is also interested in robotics, Arduino, and Raspberry Pi-based embedded systems. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you to the organizers, director sir, chairperson of BBD group, and participants. As you know that my topic is applying machine learning in robotics. Firstly, I share my screen, then I will start. My PPTs are visible. PPT is visible or not? Is it visible?
Yes sir, it is visible.
Okay, okay. Topic of talk is applying machine learning in robotics. As you know that robotics is a highly fascinating area nowadays, because due to seeing its advantage, nowadays people are working in various researchers and industry peoples, and in defense area. They are loving to work with robotics, because after seeing its advantages in various fields, now why need of machine learning algorithms in robotics? As we know that the intelligent robot is very important, because if you have a dumb robot, then whatever task we have assigned, they can continuously do But in case of intelligence, they can have a ability to learn the things, take a wise decision, uh, and do a lot of work which a human being cannot do. Uh, so we move further. This is the table of content of my talk. Firstly, I will do the introduction of my talk. After that, classification of robot, introduction of Raspberry Pi. Why we are going to discuss Raspberry Pi? Raspberry Pi is basically a single board computer, and it have a high processing power, and it can be easily installed where space is very limited. Like in robot, we have a very limited space, so it can be easily installed in the places. Some of the packages related to the AI and machine learning will also discuss in my talk. And at last I will conclude my topic with some concluding remarks. Now, what is robot? Generally, we have a perception that robot is just like a humanoid. You can see the example of humanoid. It is just similar to the machine. So the definition of robot is a machine which is capable of perceiving the environment with the help of sensors, process the sense data, and then carrying out a complex series of action with the help of actuators. Right? But in general, not only humanoid is a robot. Beside it, another example of robots are ATM, means automatic trailing machine, robot arms in car factories, Google self-driving cars, self-checkouts at grocery stores. These are some of the examples which is also a robot, but we generally say that a humanoid is only robot, but they also come into the category of robot. Nowadays, you have seen that lot of Hollywood and Bollywood movies uh, in which they have used the robot, like Robot, iRobot, Robocop, Wall-E, Terminator series, Matrix series. You have seen that in these movies, very advanced robots are there. Sometimes they dominate on human race, and they actually defeat the human race and dominate in entire world also, uh, due to the advances in the uh, AI and machine learning. Now the advantages of robot: increase productivity. If we use the robot in assembly lines or in some factories, then productivity will increase. Why productivity will increase? Because a robot can work 24 hours in a day, 7 days in a week, and 365 days in a year. Without any fatigue or without any rest, they can work. So definitely productivity will increase. Safety, efficiency, and quality. Robot can work in a environment where human work by the human being is not satisfactory. Means a human cannot work in that environment, and it can give a quality of work, and definitely efficiency is more as compared to the human being. Consistency of products. I want to give an example of cars. If a same model car is produced, you can see that entire series have a consistency, because generally they use a robotic arms in assembly lines of the car factory, and this consistency is able to maintain. If human being work in place of the robot, then definitely some differences in product is there. Another advantage is work in hazardous environment. You can see that some places where highly radiated area, radiation is very high, or high temperature area, high pressure area, where a human being cannot be work, but a robot can work. Capabilities beyond the human being. humans. As we know that human capability is limited, but there is no scope in case of robot, because as per our requirement we can increase the capability of robot. Now the disadvantage, definitely uh, every everything have a certain disadvantage. So disadvantage is also associated with the robot. First disadvantage is people can lose the jobs. If all the jobs are take over by the robots, then there may be a chances that there is a no scope of work for the human being. Because if we love to give our work to the robot, then we don't prefer. Because for example, suppose for the washing machine, if we take example of washing machine, we don't like to wash our clothes, or we don't want to give our clothes to laundry many cases. But in case we have a washing machine, then we generally love to to wash our clothes by the washing machine, because the human factors which involve with the human being is not there. Anytime we can start our washing machine, and without any questions or without any argue, our washing machine will work. So that is the advantage of machines. If we totally these machines dominate on us, then definitely human being lose our jobs. Second disadvantage is it needs a supply of power. No doubt, if any robot has to work, it requires some power supply. And in our country, developing country, sometime this may be a major issue, because uh, even sometime in Lucknow power cuts are there. So if we want to use these robots in a rural or suburban area, there may be a problem of power supply. So in this case, robots cannot be installed in such places. It needs maintenance to keep it running, because this is a highly technical area. Robots have a lot of machineries and technical parts are there, so it needs a continuous maintenance if there is a some problem for debugging purpose. It costs money to make or buy a robot. This is a one of also a challenging thing, that if robot is not so much popular, then production cost is high. But in future, when it become popular, the production cost will be reduced, but in the starting, cost is high. Now in a single diagram we can see the advantage and disadvantage simultaneously. Initial stage, you can say, see initial stage, a robot help the human beings. You can see that with the help of a drilling machine, this human being can easily drill the wall as compared to this human being. So if we use a limited use of machines, then it will be helpful to the human being. But if if we are totally depend on the robots, then there may be chances that robot may dominate on the human being. And in some cases, or after a certain time, that robot may kick off the human being, and it may dominate our entire world, just you see the in the movies of Hollywood and Bollywoods. Now branches involved in the robotics. Robotics is a multidisciplinary branch, because branches occupied in development of robots are the mechanical engineering, which deals the machinery and structure of robots. Electronics engineering deals with the controlling and sensing of robots. Electrical engineering deals with energy sources and electrical motors attached with robots. And computer engineering deals with the movement, development, and observation of the robot. So it is not a single disciplinary branch, a multiple disciplinary branch involved. So if we talk about the student point of view, multiple branches students can work in this field. They have a lot of stuff to work, because generally student don't have uh, very limited work, because most of time they are busy uh, in watching movies or some gossip. If we have a certain type of task, definitely our student become more productive, because they are doing some technical work. So not only single branch, multiple branch students can together work, and teamwork may be uh, generated in this field. So a lot of stuff is there for multiple branch students in this field. Now the various components used in the robots are power supply. Robot are powered by batteries, solar power, hydraulic and pneumatic power sources. Actuators, what are the actuators? They convert energy into the movement. These are the actuators. You can see the motors. Electric motors, they are required for rotational motor movement. Sensors, they provide knowledge of real information on the task environment. So if you want to perceive the environment, you have to use the sensors. Types of robots, simple level robots. In general, we see the simple level robot. These are the automatic machines which do not contain complex circuit. They are developed just to extend human potential. For example, washing machine. So after invention of the washing machine, washing cloth is very easy, right? So basically it extend the uh, capability of the human being. Now human can easily wash the clothes. Now what are the middle level robots? These robots are programmed but can never be reprogrammed. These robots contain sensors based circuit, can perform multiple tasks. Example is fully automatic washing machine. You can see that in washing machine certain buttons are there, but their function buttons of each uh, function of each button is fixed. You cannot reprogram it. So this is the middle level robot. And complex level robots, these robots are programmed and can be reprogrammed as well. Right? If uh, for example the laptop and computer. So this is the complex level robot, because in the laptop you can reprogram. uh, Now based on the robot locomotion, we can classify the robot. You can see that in this robot two legs are there. So this is the legged locomotion. This type of locomotion consumes more power, because multiple motors are to be there, and it is difficult to balance by two legs. So complex series of operations should have to perform. It requires more number of motor to accomplish a movement. It is suitable for the rough terrain where infrastructure is not there. Suppose this robot has to move where lot of stones or stairs are there. So these robots are suitable to install in these places. It is little difficult to implement because of stability issue. Definitely stability issues there, because making balance by these robot is difficult. It comes with variety of 1, 2, 4 and 6 legs. So based on our application, we can install these number of legs on the robots. Now this is the wheeled locomotion based robot. You can see that instead of legs there is a wheels. So there are certain advantage of such type of robot. No doubt certain disadvantage is also there. Advantage is that it require fewer number of motors to accomplish a movement. Only I think a single motor, if you install a single motor, this robot can easily move. It is little easy to implement as there are less stability issues in case of more number of wheels, right? So because less stability issue is there, it is power efficient as compared to legged locomotion, because one motor is there, so it require less amount of power. Now this type of classification is slip skid locomotion. In this type, the vehicle use tracks as in a tank. And as you can see that in a tank, not only a single wheel is there, multiple wheels are there, and they move uh, in different speeds. And this slip skid locomotion arrangement, it can easily move in rough terrain. So generally, you can see that this type of arrangement is used in the uh, war fields where infrastructure is not there. So the robot is steered by moving the tracks with different speeds in same or opposite direction. It offers stability because of large contact area of track and ground. So large contact area is there between ground and this robot. So it offer a large stability. Now application of robots. Robot can be used in outer space. You have seen that lot of robotic mission uh, is launched by our NASA and SpaceX companies. So because it is easy to send robot instead of human being, because lot of infrastructure is required in case of human being. It can easily use in intelligent homes, exploration of military. This is also nowadays very emerging area of the application of robots in the military field. Farms, car factory, hospitals, disaster area, and also in application we can use the robots. Now industrial robots, you can see in this picture, this is the robotic arm. This is used for the welding, and this is the assembly belt of the car. Every task is specified for every robotic arm, and they are accordingly doing this work. Now domestic and household robots, you can see that these robots are uh, cooking delicious foods, and this robot is cleaning the floor. Medical robots, you can see that this is the joystick, and this human operator move this joystick, this robotic arm, with the help of joystick. Nowadays it is people are trying this type of arrangement, especially after the invention of the 5G technology, because in the 5G latency issue is very much resolved. Only millisecond latency issues is there. Latency means delay issue. If this robotic arm move left, then this joystick move left, then this robotic arm should also move left within a fraction of second. Then this type of operation can be performed when our doctor is sitting in USA and patient is in New Delhi. So this type of operation can nowadays is possible. However, it is not till now. It is a research area, and it is not till now. It is fully implemented, but people are trying because it has this type of arrangement have a lot of advantages, because cost is very less. A senior doctor or expert can easily operate the patient without the movement. So a lot of traveling cost and time will be saved. Service robot, you can see that this robot is serving the coffee and champagne in hotels or restaurant. Nowadays you can see that some restaurants are opening where only robots are serving these type of services. In also in India, also in Bangalore, some restaurants have opened and they are giving such type of facilities. This is the military robot. You can see that this Predator drone is there. Recently you have seen the war between two countries. I forget the name of two countries. Azerbaijan and Armenia. You have seen that Azerbaijan military has completely destroyed the Armenia army with the help of these Predator drones. So nowadays it is very focused area and interesting area, application area of military robots. This is the submarine, robotic submarine. You can do the surveillance with the help of these robotic submarines. This is the gun fitted in a tank. This is also a example of military robots. This is surveillance robot. It can sense the interested area with the help of sensors and communicate its information to the human operator. Entertainment robot. These robots can sing a song, play guitars, play footballs also. Space robot. This robot, you can see that this robotic mission sent to the Mars. You have seen that 6 wheels are there. This is the camera, solar panel is there, and this robot can be operated by human being also, which is sitting in Earth, and this robot should be intelligent also, because the distance between Mars and Earth is very large, and even if you travel with speed of light also, it take about 7 to 8 minutes, and that time is very crucial in such type of robotic mission. Why it is crucial? Because suppose you have sent a command to stop, but it that command will receive by this robot after 7 minutes, and that at that time that robot may fall into pitfalls or some valley, and our mission may completely destroyed. So in this case, this robot has to take intelligent decision without any assistant by a human operator sitting in space station. This one is robotic arm fitted for repairing purpose of any spacecraft. So these are the space robots, very useful robots. Hobby and competition robots, you can see that car racing is there. Generally these type of robots are used in academics also. In BBD group you have seen a lot of competition related to competition robots, right? Now our topic of interesting topic is machine learning. So how we make our robot intelligent. For that we have to train the brain of robot. So for that we have to use the microcontrollers, and in microcontrollers some IO ports are there and processing units are there. So this microcontroller basically takes some input data from its sensors, process it, and send output data to output port, and some actuators are connected to the output ports, and accordingly it take some action on the environment. So a microcontroller is a small computer on a single integrated circuit. It contains a processor core where signals are processed. It contains RAM memory for temporary storage of data. It contains ROM memory for permanent storage of data. It contains a programmable input-output peripherals. If all these things are there, we can say this is not a microprocessor. This is a microcontroller board, microcontroller. And if certain things are also added like programmer, eraser, then we can say it is a microcontroller board. So processor basically master brain of system. Process the data is to reconfigure the system. Now, what are the ARM AVR or ARM processor? Because these type of processor are used in robotic system. Why? Because they are compact in size. Cooling requirement is less. Generally, you have seen that cooling fan fitted in your desktop and laptops. They create a lot of noise. Space requirement is also there. So, but if we use AVR or ARM processor, such requirement is not uh, essential. However, if we use it, then it is good, but it is not essential. Reduce instruction set computer. These are the RISC computers. Reduce instruction set computers are there because and the instruction size is also fixed. So in this case, high execution speed due to the instruction pipelining. We have seen I think some of you have studied the concept of instruction pipelining concept, because instruction size is limited, so we can prefetch the instruction before execution, which is only possible in case of RISC computer because instruction size is fixed. But in case of CISC computer, it is not possible to prefetch. So the high execution speed is possible in case of RISC computer. Real-time operation is also possible because computer generally in general work in a real environment. So we can say that a fix is that robot has to respond in a fixed time interval. If it is not respond in a fixed time interval, then that robot utility of that robot is not there because it work in a real environment. Make robot artificial intelligence. So processing core is also there. We can program it, and this processing core execute the instruction. So by that we can make our robot intelligent also. Now this is the schematic diagram of a intelligent robot. Basically, environment. What is the environment? A real world. That is the environment where a robot work. This robot sense this environment with the help of installed sensors. What are the sensors? Like temperature sensor, pressure sensor, or light sensor, humidity sensor. These are the sensor which basically sense the environment, and this sense data is sent in a block where what the world is like now. This block is responsible to get what the world is like now, how the world is this now, what action I should do now. So how can we decide what action we have to decide? There are certain condition action rule. By executing these condition action rule, we can decide what action I should do, and we send this signal to the actuators. Actuators what actually do? Actually, actuator give a instruction to motors to which actually convert the electrical energy into motion, like motors. So accordingly, a action can be performed on the environment. Means what the environment is there, we have to take some action by taking some intelligent decision, and we are trying to change this environment with the help of some intelligent algorithms in robotic agents. So what is artificial intelligence? Firstly, what is artificial? Artificial means man-made, not natural, or we can say that simulated. That is the artificial. And intelligence. Intelligence means ability to understand the environment, right? If you have a ability to sense the environment means the real world. That is ability. That ability should be there for intelligent people, because you people, you have eyes, ears, nose. By these sensor you are able to sense the real world. So this ability should also be there in your robot. Now think, because after sensing the environment we have a ability to think. Think means uh, some knowledge is there, you have to uh, manipulate that knowledge and get some wise decision. Learn, if you have some past experience and you get some new things, then you can update your experience database. That is ability of learn should also be there. And make a judgment, because a intelligent person have a ability to make judgment. That is the definition of intelligence. Weak intelligence. What is weak intelligence? Intelligence level is less than the human being. Nowadays we are living in era of weak intelligence, because we have not seen any machine which is more intelligent more than the human being. And if it is intelligent, then it is intelligent in a specific field, not in entire field, because as you see that human being intelligent in wide area of field. Uh, that human being can play chess also. It can uh, do a lot of things, like it can do the studies also. It can do the programming also. It can go to market and purchase vegetables also. So intelligence level is large as compared to the machines. So we are living in basically in the weak intelligence era. Now after this weak intelligence, there is maybe era of strong artificial intelligence. What is strong artificial intelligence? Intelligence level is equivalent to the human being. If our machines intelligence level is equivalent to the human being, then we can say that we are living in era of strong intelligence. Now singularity artificial intelligence. What is this? This is the intelligence level is more than human being. There may be chances that if growth of artificial intelligence is like that, then definitely there may be chances that our machine will be more intelligent than human being, because human being have a certain limitation. A human being evolved from last 1 to 2 lakhs year. So natural evolution is very slow. We become intelligent from our birth, but this process is very slow. But in case of machine, this is not true. We can make our machine intelligent very rapidly as compared to the human being. So there may be chances that some time after 1 to 3 decade, we may achieve in era of singularity artificial intelligence. That may be a dangerous situation for human beings. So a lot of philosophers in this field, they many times they warn. You have heard about the Stephen Hawkins. He has actually write a lot of articles that we don't give freedom to our machine. so that they can take decisions also. And because if a machine come into the singularity level, we human being cannot stop the power of machines, and maybe chances that they may be dominate to us. So they warn it, and humanity, we people also discussing or debating whether we have to make our machine intelligent or not. So that is a very controversial issue. We leave this issue, this stage. How we make machine intelligent? First option have learning via explicit programming. We can make a machine or a computer or a robot intelligent with the help of explicit programming. Means for each and every step we write a instruction for a machine. But in the real world, our real world is not so much simple, because lot of issues are there. So it is not possible to write code for every step. So there is another way of learning, that is the supervised learning. What is supervised learning? Training the machine using data which is well labeled. Well labeled data, like that we know the category of data where it is belong. I am giving some talk. Please meet after some, after half an hour. So supervised learning, what is supervised learning? We have a label data, we know what is, which category that data is belonging. So learning by that label data is the supervised learning. Unsupervised learning, training the machine using unlabeled data. We don't know the the level, or we can say that which area the data is belong. So training our machine with such type of unlabeled data is unsupervised learning. Reinforcement learning, this type of learning is similar like us, like a baby. That baby don't know anything, but from its past experience and via the trial and error method, a baby grow up and become intelligent person. So a machine can also be learned via the reinforcement learning. Now Raspberry Pi 4, that is the a board. This is a single PCB board, single board computer, where everything is there, similar to the desktop or laptop. That single board computer have a gigabit Ethernet port. This is the gigabit Ethernet port, means via the LAN it can connect to your computers also, and the speed is in range of gigabit. It has two three two USB port, that is USB 3, and two ports of USB 2. With the help of USB 3 port, you can transfer your data very fast as compared to USB 2. It also have micro HDMI ports, two micro HDMI ports which support 4K display. Means two monitors you can simultaneously connect with this board. USB-C power supply. So if you have a USB-C power adapter is there, generally nowadays your mobile have such type of port. So you have a power adapter also there. So you can use such type of power adapter and give a power to this uh, board. More powerful processor, that is this processor have multiple cores, so it can do the parallel processing and speed up the processing of data. RAM size, there have multiple option, 2 GB option, 4 GB, 8 GB, based on your application and your budget. You can choose the choice of RAM. And one of the most important feature, that is the GPIO pins. These are the GPIO pins. GPIO pins, general purpose input output pins. These pins are very useful for the robotics project because you can connect your sensors with these pins, and you can connect the actuator with these pins. So you can use this board, small size, palm size board. Its size is palm size. मीन्स आपके हाथ में इस बोर्ड को आप रख सकते हैं, इतना छोटा बोर्ड होता है. और and this computer is basically a Linux computer, tiny Linux computer, which is a open source with respect to hardware and software. When everything is hardware is open source, there is no need of licensing for that. And there is a very large online community is also there. If you have some technical issue, you can discuss your issues with these online community also. And as it is, you can add some extra hardware also with this board. So it is cost wise, it is very easy. You don't need to purchase the license also. No approval is there, and cost is very less. It range from 4,000 to 8,000 rupees. So certain specification of Raspberry Pi 4 is 1.5 gigahertz quad core 64-bit ARM processor, 2 GB, 4 GB and 8 GB RAMs option is there. Bluetooth is there, gigabit Ethernet is there, 2 USB 3.0 port and 2 USB 2.0 ports. Raspberry Pi standard 40 GPIO headers are there. HDMI port is there. HDMI monitor you can connect with this Raspberry Pi 4. Micro SD card slot means you can connect micro SD card, and where you can place your operating system, and that operating system with that operating system you boot your micro this Raspberry Pi 4, and you can also store your data in this micro SD card. 5 volt 3 ampere DC via USB 3 connector, dual display 4K video output port, and stereo audio and composite video ports. Means audio and video port is also there, so you can connect your headphone, mic, speakers, and composite video port. You can also connect web camera with this Raspberry Pi. So operating system supported by the Raspberry Pi 4 is Raspberry, that is the official operating system of Raspberry Pi 4. But instead of this, you can also install Ubuntu, Kali Linux, RetroPie, Windows 10 IoT Core, and open source media centers. So these operating system, Linux based operating system, you can also install on it. This one is the Windows based operating system, Windows 10 IoT 10. You can also Windows based operating system can be installed in this Raspberry Pi 4. Now the programming language for the Raspberry Pi 4, because you have to make your robot intelligent, so naturally you have to program your robot. So for that there are multiple programming language support with Raspberry Pi 4. First and most important and official programming language for the Raspberry Pi 4 is Python programming. Lot of features are there, lot of support for the machine learning and AI algorithms in case of Python. Beside it, you can program it via C, C++ language, Java, HTML5, Scratch programming, Erlang programming. So these programming language can also be supported by Raspberry Pi 4. These are limited, not all programming language. A lot of programming language support is there. I am discussing here only some of the programming languages. Now packages for Python for Raspberry Pi. So as I told that Python is the official programming language for Raspberry Pi. So some of the packages related to the Raspberry Pi are SciPy for scientific computation, NumPy for mathematical computation or array operation. We use this package. Matplotlib for the data visualization. Whatever data you have received via your sensors, you can visualize by connecting a monitor with your Raspberry Pi 4 and you can visualize your data. A Panda library is used for data mining. If you have a lot of data is there, so you can extract a useful information via the pandas. TensorFlow basically uh, used for deep learning programming, right? In much sometime it is not possible to make our robot intelligent with the help of machine learning. Then in case we have to go for the deep learning. So this package support for the deep learning programming. OpenCV, SimpleCV, these two packages are used for the image processing applications. Suppose you have connected a web camera from your Raspberry Pi 4 and you have tracked some object. So with the help of these packages, these two packages, you can do the image processing. NLTK means Natural Language Toolkit. This package is used for natural language processing, means your robot can speak like a human being or whatever uh, your robot have here, it can able to understand with the help of NLTK tool package. Scikit-learn package, it is very useful for the machine learning because all things are there in the Scikit-learn. You can just install the Scikit-learn package. All machine learning algorithms and packages become pre-installed in your Raspberry Pi. So with the help of scikit-learn, you can do the supervised learning. Means you have a label data. Then in this case, you can solve the problem of classification and regression. You can also do the unsupervised learning. Means you have a unlabeled data. Then in this case, you can make a clusters of your data which belong to certain categories. Reinforcement learning means learning like a small kids. You can do this type of learning in case of machine learning with scikit-learn. Now this is the GPIO pin which I already discussed. Sorry. हाँ पटेल जी, जरा सा मेरा लेक्चर अभी चल रहा है, मैं अभी आता हूँ 15 मिनट में. हाँ हाँ ठीक है. GPIO pins, I have already discussed that there are 40 GPIO pins, which is GPIO pin general purpose input output which is attached with Raspberry Pi 4, where you can connect your sensors and actuators. Means it can sense the real world, process it, and again send data to the actuators, and that actuator actually try to change the real world. So this can be done with the help of GPIO pins. So certain type of GPIO pins are there, like 3V3 means 3.3 volt pin is power supply pin is there, 5 volt power supply pin is there, ground pin, and for some advanced purpose pins are there, which these are ADV pins. And GPI pin, one of the most important pin from which you can connect your sensors and actuators. So accessing of GPIO pin is very easy in case of Raspberry Pi via the Python programming. You can access these GPIO pins by only you have to import the package rpi.gpio. You can import this package as a GPIO, and if you want to take output, suppose you want to take output from pin number 2. What is the pin number 2? This one is GPIO 2. This is the pin number 2. So if you want to take output from pin number 2, then what you can do, uh, gpio.setup 2 as a output. तुम आप इसको as a output set कर सकते हैं. After that, gpio.output 2 comma gpio.high means you can get the 5 volt uh, output from pin number 2 with this Python based command. gpio.output 2 comma gpio.low. If you want to 0 volt low level, then you can get via this uh, Python command. Similarly, you can take input means you can attach sensors to the GPIO pin number 2 via this command gpio dot set to comma gpio dot in means pin number 2 is initialized as a input pin. Now whatever input is there, you can print with the help of this Python command print gpio dot input in bracket 2. So you can see that very easily you can access these GPIO pins, and real world data can easily entered in this Raspberry Pi 4. Now the concluding remark. Intelligent robotic applications are now become integral part of our daily life. Raspberry Pi board have I/O ports and strong processing capabilities. Raspberry Pi is single board tiny Linux machine with full-fledged software support of Python. AI and machine learning package can be easily installed in robot in port. It can be used in compact robotic projects where the small size, less cost, and high processing capabilities are required. So these are the concluding remark how we can apply a machine learning algorithm in robotics project where Raspberry Pi behave like a brain, and we have studied how we program our Raspberry Pi, which is a brain of the robot. So various packages we have discussed, operating system supported by Raspberry Pi 4 we have discussed, and how many pins are there, how we attach the sensors and actuator with Raspberry Pi. And no doubt machine learning packages we can also use with the help of scikit-learn. We can easily install in Raspberry Pi 4, and with the help of Python programming, you can make your robot intelligent. These are certain packages. If you want to know what is Raspberry Pi, just click on this link. You may get the knowledge of Raspberry Pi. Python, if you know more about the Python, you can visit this website io.adafruit.com. You can, whatever data you have sent, you can send it to the cloud also, right? So if you want, if you are doing a project where multiple robots has to take a collaborative decision and they are spatially separated, in this case, if you are interested to do such type of project, you can visit this website. Scikit-learn supported by this library. You can, if you are interested to learn more about the machine learning, you can visit this website, and you can know how you can incorporate machine learning algorithms in the Python programming language, and Python programming language is the uh, official programming language for the Raspberry Pi 4. So thanks. Now I would like question. I would like to know if you want to ask some questions, you can please ask.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable words. Now it's time to grab the opportunity and clear the queries with our honorable speaker. You can simply unmute yourself or you can share your query in the chat box of the meeting. So the platform is all yours.
Good morning, sir.
Good
Myself
morning.
Gaurangi. My query is in geospatial engineering, we study regarding different functions and properties of satellite. So, sir, satellite is also a robot, and which kind of robot it is?
Yes, satellite is a robot, and this is the space robot basically. It take data from the base station, and geostationary application basically. What you have asked is geostationary. Geo,
Sir,
geo,
geospatial engineering.
geospatial engineering. Basically, in geospatial engineering, a satellite have certain thermal image camera or various sensors are there. With the help of these sensors, that satellite scan our whole Earth, and from that they can get some crucial information and process it, and accordingly inform the human operator. For example, I think we can take example of vegetation. Suppose which type of crop is growing in a certain in particular interest of area, so we can easily judge. So what we can predict that what will be the future cost, means future selling price of a particular cost. We can inform our farmers that no, you have to this time wheat crop is growing in a large scale, so there may be chances that cost will be less, so you can focus in another crops. So by that we can mm, help our society also. Another questions?
Thank you, sir.
Any more questions?
Hope you all have clarified all your queries. At last but not the least, I would like to invite Professor Kanika Lamba ma'am to share her precious words as vote of thanks.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone. A warm and cherished good morning to all of you. A warm and cherished good morning to our honorable speaker, Dr. Himanshu Katiyar, management, faculty, students, volunteers, and everyone present here. It's my privilege to propose a vote of thanks and acknowledge the contribution of those who have worked hard to make this event successful. I, on behalf of BBT ITM and the volunteers, extend a very hearty vote of thanks to the Honorable Speaker, Professor Himanshu Katiyar, who blessed us with their presence and took out valuable time of his busy schedule. I must mention our deep sense of appreciation for Professor Himanshu Katiyar for his work and contribution. Sir, your thought-provoking information in the field of applied machine learning and robotics sets a perfect platform for our students to explore more and achieve more. Thank you so much, sir. You all will agree that all of us stand on the shoulders of a giant, but it's very rare that we look back and see how they have contributed and acknowledged us. So many of those who have lent their shoulders to IEEE growth in DBT ITM. Keeping all these efforts in mind, I thank respected Director DBT ITM, Dr. Bhavesh Kumar Chauhan, who graced us with his support and guidance. Sir, you are the pivotal behind the growth of IEEE in DBT ITM. Without your constant guidance, it would never have been possible. Thank you so much, sir. I would like to make a special mention and present my sincere thanks to Professor Rafiq Ahmed, IEEE Branch Counselor and HOD E&EN Department for his guidance, motivation, and encouragement to the students and department. Thank you so much, sir. I would also like to extend my generous thanks to Professor Khadim Moin Siddiqui, WIE advisor and secretary for his constant effort and consistent support to bring the entire event despite of the roadblocks present because of this entire COVID situation. Finally, I would like to extend my heartily thanks to our IEEE members, our anchor of the day, Akriti and Aviral, our technical support team behind, our volunteers who were present here during the session to learn, and I am sure they will take the learning forward in every way possible. Again, a special thanks to everyone present here and in helping to make the event a grand success. Thank you so much. Over to you, Aviral.
Thank you, ma'am. Dear participants, feedback form is flashing in the chat box of the meeting. It is mandatory for all to fill it.
Okay, thank you, organizers. I'm leaving.
Everyone kindly fill the feedback form. So it's a humble request to everyone, stay connected with us as IEEE BBD ITM branch has its upcoming event on 6th Feb, which would be an online debate competition open for all. It's a kind request to all participants to show their keen interest to it as it today. With a great pleasure, I would like to call our Honorable HOD Sir for the official closure of the session.
Hello, Aviral. I think Rafiq sir is not technically connected. You can please call Khadim sir.
Sure, ma'am. I would request Khadim sir to kindly conclude the program.
Uh, Thank you so much, Anchor. I hope I'm audible. Uh, and thank you so much.
Sir, I think there is some network issue. Your voice is breaking.
Now my voice is clear. Anchor.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, respected speaker, Dr. Himanshu Katiyar, for such an informative lecture. And hopefully it is benefited for us. And we and our students will conduct research in this direction also. So now, thank you so much again. Now the program is declared officially closed. Thank you so much all for joining.